Let's dive into the world of healthcare law and ethics. We're going to use Ghana's system as our guide to uncover some pretty surprising rules that govern your rights as a patient and a doctor's duties. Because what you think is just common sense, well, it might not be common law at all.
Okay, let's start with a couple of quick questions for you. When you see a price tag in a shop, is that a legally binding offer? And when you hear the term common law, does that just mean, common knowledge? I'm willing to bet the answers aren't what you think, and they show us something really important. The legal world has its own set of rules.
All right, first up, let's become legal mythbusters. We're going to tackle a few really common misunderstandings head on, because honestly, they affect everything from your daily shopping trip to your most fundamental rights. Picture this. You're in a store, you see something you want, and it's got a price tag on it. You take it up to the cashier, ready to pay. In your mind, you've just accepted their offer and you've made a deal, right? Well, legally speaking, that's not quite what just happened. So here's the crucial legal difference. That price tag, it's not actually an offer. Legally, it's called an invitation to treat. All the shop is doing is inviting you to make them an offer. When you bring that item to the counter, you're the one offering to buy it. The cashier then accepts your offer by taking your money. It's a subtle switch, but it changes everything. Now for our second big myth, common law. This term gets thrown around all the time, and it really sounds like it should just mean common sense, right? You know, the stuff everyone knows, like don't steal. But again, the real legal definition is something totally different. The reality is, common law is actually judge-made law. It's this massive system of principles that's been built up over hundreds of years from decisions made in court cases. Ghana inherited this whole tradition from England, so it's not about what the public thinks or knows. It's all about the legal precedent set by judges in the courtroom. Okay, so how does all this legal stuff apply to a hospital or a clinic? Well, in this section, we're going to look at the very specific non-negotiable duties that healthcare professionals have towards you. And these aren't just polite suggestions, they are serious legal and ethical obligations. This is the absolute bedrock of it all. The second you become a patient, that professional, whether it's a doctor, a nurse, a lab scientist, owes you what's called a duty of care. It's automatic, it's universal, end of story. Now, when that duty of care is broken, we get into the really serious territory of medical negligence. And this isn't about a simple, honest mistake. It's about a professional failing to meet the required standard of care, and as a direct result, you get hurt. To prove there was negligence, you have to establish three things, and we can call them the 3 Ds. First, that a duty was owed. We already know that happens automatically. Second, that there was a dereliction, a failure or a breach of that duty. And third, that this breach directly caused damage or harm. You got to have all three links in that chain. And a huge, huge part of that duty is confidentiality. Healthcare professionals simply cannot share your private information. We're talking about the most sensitive data imaginable, from your HIV status or mental health history right down to your phone number. This information is protected, period. Now that we've talked about what the professionals owe you, let's flip the coin and talk about your rights. This is all about the power you hold as a patient, and it's laid out in a really important document called the Patient's Charter. Now, the Patient's Charter isn't a one-way street. It's all about balance. Yes, you absolutely have the right to get quality care, to be informed, and to give your consent. But those rights come with responsibilities too, like giving accurate health info and trying to follow the treatment plan. It really is a partnership. And make no mistake about this, the Patient's Charter isn't just a friendly guideline, it is a binding document. It applies to every single person working in healthcare, from the most famous surgeon to the person working at the reception desk. There are no exceptions. Okay, so we've got duties on one side and rights on the other. But what's the system that actually enforces all this? Let's zoom out a bit and decode the legal structure that everything is built on. Because understanding where the laws come from is key to knowing how to use them. So in a country like Ghana, laws have come from different places over the years, some from elected parliaments, others from military governments. So is a law from a parliament the same as one from a military regime? Well, in the eyes of the law, yeah, they're both considered valid. They just have different names. It's a simple little detail, but it's an important one. Laws that come out of parliament are called acts. But laws that were issued by a military government, like the PNDC, were called decrees, or PNDC laws, just a little something to help you understand where the rules come from. Here's another common mix-up: the order of the courts. A lot of people think the High Court is the top dog, but nope. The ultimate judicial authority in Ghana, the court that has the final say on every single legal matter, is the Supreme Court. So we have the duties, we have the rights, and we have the legal system. But who's the referee in all this? Who actually enforces these standards and holds healthcare professionals accountable when things go wrong? Well, that's where the regulatory body comes in. And this is such a critical protection for all of us. Just graduating from med school with a degree isn't enough to let you start treating patients. A professional has to be properly vetted and then get a license from the Allied Health Professions Council. It's simple. No license, no practice. So who exactly is on this powerful council? Well, as you can see, it's a real mix of key people. You've got folks from the Ministry of Health and the Attorney General's office, representatives from the professional groups themselves, and this is crucial, a representative for the public. That diversity is there to make sure decisions are balanced and fair. And its mission? Well, it's spelled out right there in the law that created it. The council's entire job is to ensure professionalism, ethical conduct, and high standards. Basically, they are the gatekeepers, protecting your safety and making sure you get quality care. So we've busted some legal myths. We've defined professional duties, and we've outlined your rights. But look, this information is only powerful if you actually use it. Knowing you have a right to information, a right to a second opinion, a right to confidentiality, that's the first step. The real question is, how will this knowledge empower you on your own health journey?